Hi everyone, it's Sean. Welcome to the Friday Night Hangout Campfire Edition. Once again, we still don't have a campfire, but with these gorgeous flowers, which I've designed this week in the fiery orange, yellow, and beige, which I think is how most people describe fire. And if they don't, well, they should. Fiery orange and beige. It's also my drag name. Fiery orange and beige. Fiery orange is mine, and beige is Valerie's. And together, we are fiery orange and beige. So we're so glad that you guys are here tonight. We have such a cool campfire hangout tonight, you guys. We have Lindsay Pearce, who is a Bay Area local. Well, not anymore. Probably lives in New York City or Los Angeles because she's a big time star. But I originally saw her as Belle in Beauty and the Beast at the Tri-Valley Rep in Livermore, California, I believe. It might have been in Pleasanton. It was in one of those cities, though. And then she went on to Glee fame, and now, of course, you guys know she's, she was just Alphabet in Wicked. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure that was the career I was meant to have. But I was born into the wrong body. I was born in a trunk at the Princess Theater. If you could just see the cat right now. The cat is literally, you know cats, they're not interested in people. He's literally just sitting exactly where a studio audience would be seated, and he is just staring up at me like, why do you keep turning on a ring light and asking Valerie to work a camera so that you can be on TV 5 days a week?
Ready for Talia?
Yes, let's say hi to Talia. Lick's joining us tonight, and she is one of our very special guests in tomorrow's concert. We just wanted to say hi to her so that we can make sure a little sound check. Well, hi Talia, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Oh my god, you look amazing.
Thank you.
I'm so glad that you're going to be on the show tomorrow.
Thank you.
Now, tonight's
my little sister's birthday, so they're all in the living room watching a movie.
Oh, that's awesome. What's your little sister's name?
Her name is Kazea.
Say it one more time.
Kazea.
Kazea. Happy birthday, Kazea. You share this birthday with the fabulous Leslie Noel from the Peter Pan Foundation, and yesterday was Lindsay Pearce's birthday. So, Kazea, you are in good company, and this one's for you. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Kazea, Lindsay and Leslie Noel of the Peter Pan Foundation. Thought I was going to run out of breath, but I didn't. Happy birthday to you. Talia, we will see you tomorrow on the concert. It was so good to see your little face.
Thank you.
Okay, see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
Talia is one of our very special guests tomorrow, along with Annalise Vanderpool from That's So Raven, Matthew Croak from Aladdin, he's Aladdin on the West End, Peter Pan Foundation's Leslie Noel, Andrew Perozzi. I don't even have the most recent version. Yes, I do. It's right here. Who else is joining us tomorrow? Oh my God. Brett Shuford and his husband, Stephen Hanna, are joining us, and they are the Broadway husbands, you guys. Stephen was just in Hello Dolly with Bette Midler, and Brett is from everything from Wicked to Beauty and the Beast to Little Mermaid. I mean, they're huge Broadway stars, you guys. I said Andrew Perozzi. Judge Cantrell is going to join us tomorrow. Who else? Sarah Barone, Talia Licht, who we just got to say hi to, Lexi Cuevas, Treasure Nelson, Izzy Hubbard, Katie Nelson, Elizabeth Nelson, all the Nelsons are joining us. Christine Burke, Michelle Mullen, who is an amazing woman who you're going to get to learn from. And yeah, it's just going to be a huge day. It's Disney Day, so it's going to be a Disney Day full of stories and songs, and we're going to be going from 12 to 3. It's a 3-hour concert tomorrow, you guys. It's absolutely free. We're not raising money for anything. We're just raising your spirits. So just come on and listen. It's on the Instagram Lives tomorrow. Then what else we got going this week? There's so much happening next week, you guys, and I'm going to announce some of it tomorrow, but I wanted to kind of give you guys a little heads up tonight that next week we have probably one of the most exciting weeks. On Tuesday, we are going to have the premiere of Scroll from Hell on Earth, the new song from the musical Hell on Earth, as well as the premiere of our short film from our winter film camp, Royalty, which I'm super excited about. Created and written and directed by Sad Souza and Logan Thomason. And then on Wednesday, you guys, we have Oscar-nominated producer Daniel Dreyfus. Yes, he had one of the hits of Sundance this year called Sergio, and it's going to be coming out soon, hopefully. We'll get all the dish from Daniel tomorrow. Nope, not tomorrow. That's going to be Wednesday. Also Wednesday, Aaron J. Albano is joining us, you guys. I'm going to geek out just a little. I first saw Aaron when he must have been 4 years old in the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, I can say it, on tour in San Francisco with Jared Gertner and Jenny Barber and James Eidelhart Monroe and Betsy Wolfe. I mean, come on, that cast was incredible. And that's where I first saw Aaron. And then, of course, I saw him in Newsies, as you guys did, all you Newsy fans out there. So Aaron's going to be joining us on Wednesday as well. And the Wednesday show is at 5 p.m. Then on Friday, oh my God, everywhere you look, everywhere you, there's a heart, there's a heart. I don't really know all the lyrics. I just know the bridge. When you're lost out there and you're all alone, the night is waiting to carry you home. If you don't know that song, it's because you're not my age. It is the original Full House theme song. And from Full House and Fuller House, Jody, Stephanie Tanner, aka Stephanie Tanner, Jody Sweeten is joining us, you guys. How rude. Do you understand that was my whole childhood? Every Friday night, TGIF was on. I was glued in front of the screen. And Jody Sweeten is going to be a Friday night guest for the hangout at 7 o'clock. And then Saturday, we have our second installment of a very special Zoom workshop with Colby Lesh. He's going to be doing Improv 101. We're going to have 2 different classes for each age group. So you can go to CampYATC and you can find out all that information on how to register for Colby's improv class. Now that is going to be limited because, as you can imagine, improv is already something that needs to be limited to a numbers game, but also on Zoom. So he has been teaching on Zoom for the last few weeks, and we're going to get to learn his expertise on how to do improv on Zoom. So next week is like an insanely full week, and we're so excited. There's so many things going on in the world. We've been making all of these like e-flyers and Aaron J. Albano, you guys. I can't even believe it. I can't even believe it. You guys have sent in great questions for Lindsay Pearce today. Lexi Cuevas and Swim and Sail and Trillium Burbank. That's a great name. Shirley Brill. But if you guys didn't get to send in a question yet, don't worry. You can just click the little question mark box down there at the bottom of your screen, and we will get to as many questions as we can tonight. Lindsay is so sweet to be joining us. This is actually Lindsay's second time with YATC. The first time was when she was on Glee, and she came and taught at YATC. I think it was at a winter camp. It was at Cazadero too. It was like super far away, In 2011, Valerie's gone mute tonight. She doesn't want to say words. December 27th, 2011. Or the 28th. She's not sure. Well, Valerie, make sure you're sure on the dates next time in 2000.
I'm pretty sure it's the 27th.
It was the first day. I think it was actually, do you remember it actually being the very first day of camp? It was the only day that she could do. And I think it was the 26th.
Oh, when we started on the 26th?
Mm-hmm. We brought in all the kids that morning and then got everyone ready for master class.
And she thought we were murdering children because there was so much screaming.
She did?
Yeah.
I remember that story. Oh my God, how funny. So yeah, you guys, we're really looking forward to an amazing next week. Oh, if you forgot, don't worry, you still have 2 days to enter the Cover That Song contest. And the song this week is Fern Fields from the new musical Hell on Earth, a new musical about middle school. Here's the t-shirt for it. And if you want to download the track or the song, you can just go to campyatc.com/sheetmusic, and you will find this week's song, Fern Fields, with all the rules. You only have to do like 45 seconds of it, and then you send in the cover, and we do voting on the Instagrams, on the story, all day Sunday, and then on Tuesday night we'll announce the winner. We have some really amazing entries already, so I hope that you all will enter. But it's a really, 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 it was my favorite song to write. I don't know if Michael Sobey feels the same way. I think Michael Sobey said his favorite song to write was Pretty Hearts. I could be corrected tomorrow when he joins us. But my favorite song to write was Fern Fields. I was literally going through a field of ferns, in Spain.
As you do
when you're in Spain. And the song just came to me, and the melody came to me readily too. So it was really a fun song to write, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed learning it. All of the songs from Hell on Earth that we've released, there are 8 or 9 of them now, I believe. They're all up on our website at campyatc.com/sheetmusic. So if you're looking for a new song for your musical theater book, consider checking that out, especially if you're between the ages of 12 and 17. Or if you're someone that's auditioning for something like 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, because the songs are written for kids who are the ages between 12 and 18. So if you're ever looking, like if you're an adult and you're looking for a middle school song, but you're like, wait, what? How would I do that? Check out Hell on Earth. It's there's some really good music in there. I like Homeschooled. I think that's my favorite. It takes a really interesting divergence. I'm going to think of the word later when there's not a ring light in my face. I hope there's lots of you on today and that you're so excited to talk to our guest tonight, Lindsay Pearce. She's going to be joining us in just a few moments. She's an on-time gal like me. And then tomorrow at noon, it's Disney Day. Disney Day with Annalise Vanderpool and Matthew Croak and other fabulous, amazing human beings. Andrew Carosi's joining us tomorrow, you guys, from Frozen on the Broadway, as well as Leslie Noel. Leslie Noel, it's your birthday. Is Jared Gertner here? Hi, Jared Gertner. Jared Gertner, we just announced, since you just joined us, Jared was one of our fabulous guests this week and gave so much inspiration. We've just announced, Jared Gertner, that Aaron is one of our guests this week. Aaron from Spelling Bee, who you know.
Hi, everyone.
100 years ago. Oh, did Valerie want to show her face?
I
again?
did.
She
It's
does
Lindsay's on.
Lindsay, come on.
I was trying to get it to do. Oh, my goodness. Hi, everyone.
Valerie
Great.
has to show her face every once in a while.
I do.
She did her hair. She wore pigtails last night, so she had some crimping. Cute natural crimping. Natural crimping is the great thing for an autobiography.
Hi, love.
Hi, Lindsay. How are ya?
I'm good. I've got
Ooh, watermelon.
a half a watermelon. It was my birthday yesterday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. As you can see. And my friends, everything's closed, right? Like everything's shut down right now, obviously. And they tried so hard to find, because I'm a pretty plant-based eater, so they tried so hard to find like a special treat or like a cupcake that I could like enjoy or something, and they couldn't. So they got me a whole personal watermelon and a pineapple instead. And I was like, you know what? Creativity.
That sounded pretty good.
Yeah.
I saw a recipe the other day for frozen yogurt, pineapple, and rum.
Ooh.
And I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna try it. It just takes some
Yeah, you know what? I personally don't drink in my life, but like during times like this, I'm like, I hope you get like everyone has their quarantinis and they're coming up with their own recipes, and I'm like, oh my god, live your best life.
Yeah, get what's gonna make you feel good.
Do what you gotta do, you know.
Figure it out. Speaking of looking and feeling so good, I watched your story all day yesterday. How on earth do you look like this after 7 weeks of quarantine?
How do I look like what?
Like your hair is like flawless.
Oh my god. Well, my hair is naturally, this like Nancy Drew thing that's happening. I was doing a live stream yesterday, Pixel Playhouse live stream of Broadway songs, songs from Broadway shows between 2000, 2009, 2010.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, you know, I should probably like run like an iron through my hair or something. I haven't touched it with heat in a while because you don't need to when your hair's under a wig, you know, all the time. And I did this, and it's a little dirty today. I think it needs a deep shampoo now, but she made me proud. She made me proud.
Good.
I will say that like I'm not a stickler for making something happen during this time, because I feel like that can be really damaging for an emotional state or for a mental state. Like if you feel like you're not creating or if you're not doing enough during this time, that you're failing. And I feel like that's dangerous. But a routine has kept me feeling like there's some semblance of normalcy. Like there are days where I'm like, okay, I know that I'm going to be doing a live stream, or I know that I'm going to be responding to cameos, or I know I'm doing this or that and the other. So like today is the day where I put a little bit of mascara on and I run a brush through my hair, and pick out an outfit. I'm not just in sweats. So that's probably, thank you is the long end of that. Thank you for the compliment. It's
well,
on purpose.
I'm just sort of amazed at this point because I used to be able to do the littlest things, just like, use an exfoliant on my face and like magic would happen. And these days it's like,
no, it's not the same anymore.
It's not the same. There's a lot going on. Under this hat is like 8th grade me, which I swore I would never see again.
I know.
Like the kid who didn't know how to cut their hair.
I know. I chopped all my hair off at the end of last year around November. I chopped it off to about here, and then it grew out a little bit, and then I chopped it off again, and then once you do a show and they measure your head for a wig, when you're in a show where they like make a wig for you, which is first time for me was Wicked, and
so cool.
I was like, in my mind I was like, oh, this will be fun because I've just chopped all my hair off and I've made this like vow that I'm not going to touch it with heat and I'm not going to do this, that, and the other. I'll just grow my hair out. And my wig girl, Mary Kay, was like, no, you won't. We just measured your whole head to the length of your hair right now. And I was like, dang. I was like, oh my God. So now, careful what you wish for because I'm in quarantine and can't get a haircut if I wanted to. So,
right. And
so now it's at this weird length.
Are you in quarantine in New York or are you in quarantine back in LA?
I'm in California now. I'm in Orange County. I'm going to stop messing with this watermelon. I'm in Orange County. My partner lives here.
Nice.
I drove from New York to California because once everything shut down and we realized that we were going to be dark for a little longer than a month, it was kind of one of those things of, when you move for a show, usually housing is helped and they help you kind of move everything over. And with a big question mark looming over everything, it just didn't seem, without a job and stuff, it didn't seem correct to stay and try to hold on to a situation and stuff. So we were kind of like, what do we do? And our box lease for his apartment was up in July. And when we found out that it was going to be June-ish or July, he was like, I have to give up the apartment, of course. And so we had to move him and his dog and all of his furniture. This is after about 20 days of like self-quarantine, of not seeing anybody, of being inside. And we decided to rent a car and just in 4 days get from coast to coast.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was insane. We made it fun, but it didn't feel like a joyride. It didn't feel like we were having like a cool road trip or anything, but we were certainly, it doesn't feel like a road trip when you're wearing masks the whole time and you have like gloves on and, and you're spraying everything that you touch before you touch it and then after you touch it. So that was an interesting thing, to go through. And then my parents were like, oh, you should, or my mom rather, not my dad. But my parents were like, or my mom was like, you should come to Northern California where I'm from and stay with us. And I was like, here's the thing though, is both of you are over 60 years old and I'm coming from New York. So God forbid, anything came along with me, or if I got something on anything like that, I would hate, and I'm asymptomatic or something. So that was kind of the thing. And, and I'm very grateful to now not be sheltering in place alone. It's just kind of like a happy byproduct of the choice. And I'm very glad to not be alone in a city that I just moved to, not knowing anybody in the middle of this. And I can't imagine what it's like for anybody that's there right now, because the 20 days that I was in it were harrowing. And God, my heart just goes out that, it's just truly the front lines. Like, it's absolutely insane. But just trying to stay in a place of gratitude,
They really are. They are going through it.
They're going through it and they're being incredible. So
staying
hats
inside
off.
and staying strong. My parents live in Livermore, California.
Oh, okay. Yes.
And so my mom is just like, she's like FaceTiming me from the backyard with all their gorgeous patio and their gorgeous pool and their hot tub. And I'm like,
yep.
Oh, I want to be there.
I know my parents live up in Sonora in the foothills. So they're like, you know, they have 5 acres and beautiful trees and land, and I'm like, ugh. And I'm here in California, but you know, we live in kind of like a condo uh area. So there's like a patio and we have a balcony, which is really nice. And the neighborhood is very quiet and not a lot of people are out. So it's nice. Like in the early mornings or in the evenings, we walk the dog and that's kind of time. But you know, there's no like yard or anything. I'm like, oh God, I've never wanted a picnic more in my life.
Yeah, I know.
I've never just wanted to like put a blanket down and just like have food and sit in the sunshine.
Yeah.
And pretend like the world isn't in a crisis. And
Just there's lately, like literally as of just the last 3 or 4 days, every morning I'm waking up, I will have forgotten about it and have to remind myself when I wake up. Just this last week, and it's weird because I try to convince myself like, no, that can't be right, and then I'm like, no, sweetie, that's it. That's what's happening. It's weird. It's weird. Let's go back. We have so many questions for you. The kids have been sending in questions all week. But I want to talk about your beginnings in Northern California and where the theater big bug bit you. I first saw you in Beauty and the Beast when, gosh, you were probably already 17 or 18.
Oh my God, was that at the Bankhead?
Yes. Isn't that amazing?
Yes. That was a turning point for me, actually, was that show. Huge. A lot of people ask me this might be a question that you got, but a lot of people say, you know, when did you know?
Yeah.
When did you know that like this wasn't just this is an extracurricular activity or, you know, something like that. It was, I had been doing shows in Denair and in Turlock and Modesto, just like children's community theater, and doing my best to, you know, I was taking vocal lessons and I had been learning in an opera house at Townsend Opera and just trying to learn music theory and listening to all the musicals I could get my hands on that my parents would let me listen to. Because a lot of them I was like, I want to listen to cabaret, and they're like, no.
Sorry.
You're 10. You're not listening to cabaret. But Miss Saigon was fine. So if you could imagine like 10-year-old Lindsay being like, the heat is on in Saigon. Like it was just like really odd. But they loved that because they saw that musical in San Francisco. And the minute that helicopter moment happened, my dad was like, oh, musical theater is the best thing in the world. And so I grew up with like Phantom of the Opera because they had the CD, Miss Saigon because they had the CD, Les Miserables because they had the CD, and Cats because they had the CD. So that was like the wheels until I got into the theater community when I was like 7 or 8. And then when I was 17, I was going to school at Modesto Junior College. I had kind of worked myself into a program of doing high school and college at the same time in Modesto because my school didn't have a theater program. So I wanted to leave that to go into to be able to do theater with the college kids. Like that's what I wanted. I wanted to learn Shakespeare, and I wanted to sing real musical stuff, and I didn't want to do Once on This Island Junior, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that those things are bad, but little Lindsay had big dreams, so my mom found the audition for Beauty and the Beast at the Bankhead Theater in Livermore, California, and she was like, you got to go. And it was the first time that I would have ever been in a theater community that wasn't one I already knew.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, I had this feeling of like trepidation on the way there, like true nervous excitement, pure anxiousness. I was so prepared. I knew the music backwards and forwards. I knew the lines. I was so prepared because I was terrified of being laughed out of the room because I thought for sure that I would get to that audition and be told it's a joke, that you think like, not that someone would be mean to me, but that I would walk out of that audition going, oh, this isn't what I thought it was. And I don't bring it to the table. Like this was a dream. This was a pipe dream. Moving on back to soccer practice. Like I truly thought that was what was going to happen. And it was the opposite of that. I walked in and it was one of those like, oh, there she is. And it changed my life. I was in a cast of people that were 10 years older than me. and I learned from them. And then that continued on. I was doing shows at Modesto Junior College. I was doing Shakespeare and musicals and straight plays, absurdist plays, anything that I could get my hands on, until I won a talent competition called Valley's Got Talent, and that took me to Glee Project. And that's like that, yeah, at 19. And for anybody who's on here, that might need to hear this, because either path that you take, college or not, you're doing it great. There's no right or wrong way to do this. And that I can't stress enough. If you feel like college is not for you, that's okay. That's okay. If you do, that's also okay. I'm here to say I was rejected from every single college I applied to and auditioned for.
That's a shock.
So
Like,
shocking, I guess, but clearly not Lindsay's path.
right, right.
Because I was thrown into an industry that I thought I was going to get to in my, my early to mid 20s after earning my BFA. And hey, what are you doing? This dog, hey, come here, stop that. My dog, AKA my roommate's dog, acts as if we don't feed him. So he goes and scavenges on the floor in the kitchen. Don't be like Frodo the dog.
Oh no,
Don't lick the floors.
Yeah, we've renamed our cat Meryl Streep because the cat can give such a convincing performance that he hasn't been fed in years. Like 6 times a day.
Insane. Yeah, and since I've got here, because we have him, he's his dad is sheltering in place with his girlfriend, and since I've been here, he's gotten 3 square meals a day. So I don't know what the deal is. I don't know who you, buddy. I don't know who you think you are. He's just looking at me like, you know I need food. But yeah, that's basically that's like the origin stories, really. Because then it went into Los Angeles and Glee and the Bear Revival and Spring Awakening and American Idiot. So many things that people have kind of caught on to. And then this at 28. I got my first Broadway audition at 28.
Wow.
Wicked was my first Broadway audition ever.
Was it really?
Mm-hmm. I had to get my equity card for this job.
Wow. Oh, congratulations. I remember the day we found out you were going to be Alphabet, and we were all just like bouncing around the office like, oh my God, this is so cool.
Yeah, I mean, people were like, oh my God, were you shocked? And I was like, no, shocked isn't the right word. I was like, huh? This isn't reality. This isn't how it works. And so I had to really fight. Hold on, 1 second. My tea kettle's going off.
Got it. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
I do have questions. I feel like I'm just going to talk to
Thank God. I'm telling you, being a performer is all that I know how to do, because I turn things on and forget about them, and it's a miracle I haven't started a house fire yet. Awful. But yeah, the Wicked was my first Broadway audition, and I felt like a 17-year-old girl again going into that. I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited to just get to be in this room and sing for Dan McKeechike, the music director of Wicked, and for the associate director, and for the casting directors of Telsey, and and I was like, I've always known about these people, but I've never been in the room with them.
You had never auditioned for Telsey before?
Nope.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess I always think, I mean, I forget Robert Ulrich is like the most genius casting director in the world, and he's so hard for Glee and for Glee Project. Yeah. Wow. He's
got that eye. Yeah.
Yeah. But it must help in some way for them to have known you from Glee from before, because you were what I remember about watching Glee was that it was like all of a sudden we were being asked to accept these guest stars that weren't famous when their whole first couple of years were only famous guest stars. And I just remember that first number you had where everyone just sat up and took total notice of you. I mean, that must have been such a big breakout moment. Like,
it was. I had filmed Anything Goes / Anything You Can Do, I Can Do Better. And I turned 20 right after we were done filming for Glee Project. So I was like freshly 20 going into, Glee Project was like a boot camp, but it didn't really prepare you for the actual process, I mean, it did prepare, it let me know how a recording studio worked, and it let me know what it felt to learn a dance in like 2 days, and you do that dance for 1 day and then you don't need that dance anymore. And
Yeah.
I was like, no, we do runs of shows for 3 months, and you're like, it was that was, I'd never done true in front of camera work. And on Glee Project, we didn't do scenes, we didn't do lines and acting with other actors. Like we did music videos, but like we didn't do like lines. And then when I remember getting the script, it got delivered to my apartment in Los Angeles, and I was like, oh my God, I've made it. Oh my God. And then and I read the scene, and I was like, holy cow. And then of course, as production tends to do, is the scene got completely changed and we got new pages on the day. And I always knew that it was going to be a Rachel and Kurt scene. But then suddenly all the lines were mine. And I was like, ah! And it was like, I got the new pages like the night before, and then the sides the day of. And I was like, I have to, and I'd never met these actors before. I'd never gotten a chance to meet them because they weren't mentors on the Glee Project. The like top tiered actors, like, the number 1, number 2, number 3 on the call sheets, they weren't guest stars on Glee Project. So I'd never met them. So I had like no basis for comparison. And I was like, and just standing on Paramount Studios is my first big gig ever in LA. It was a tall order. And I don't know how to tap dance. I can't tap dance at all, which is why you rarely see my feet in that video. And I'm dead serious. I was like, I turned to Zach Woodley at one point and I was like, what are you guys going to do? Like, how are we going to do this? And he was like, oh, honey, there's going to be no shots of your feet. And I was like, oh, no problem. Great. Yeah. But like, yeah, wow. I mean, it was an absolutely insane experience. And then I went and did a workshop of a musical in New York, like right after that. So I filmed in September and I went to New York for about 3.5, almost a whole month, to do a workshop of a new musical that never saw the light of day, but it was a great time. And I would walk down the streets. I was staying on like 48th and 9th. Like I was staying in a hotel. So I was like right in the thick of Times Square and Broadway and all of that, because, everybody rehearses in specific buildings around the area. And I remember walking from a Starbucks to my rehearsal rooms, and a man in a beautiful pea coat stopped me in the middle of the road and went, great episode. You were great. And I was like, I just got recognized in New York. Like, I was literally like, oh my God. And it gives me chills to think about. And then I remember going in that span of 3 weeks, because that episode had aired and the song had hit charts, and people were, I was already, it was so magical. And I was really like, it was an out of body experience, because I am constantly, as Lindsay, second guessing myself. Yes. And I heard people going, oh my God, this is one of the best songs, and yada, yada. And I was like, that can't be possible, because Glee is a great show and it's been on for so long. And there's been so many, and there were articles being written about this specific scene in this episode. And I was like, me? Why? Like, I didn't get it. I didn't understand. And it made me so uncomfortable to accept compliments, because I felt like I didn't deserve them, I was like, well, me doing one guest that deserves all this accolade? Absolutely not. And then now at 20, I just turned 29 yesterday. I've had that video sent to me so many times, and I'm like, look at that little actor, just like tearing it up over there. Why wasn't I nicer to myself?
I know, right?
Yeah. And the span of those 3 weeks in New York before I filmed Buenos Aires, I had people stopping me in American Eagle. I had people stop me in Starbucks. I had people stop me on the street multiple times. I had people, I have so Follies was on Broadway at that year in 2011, at the end of 2011. And where my hotel was, I would walk out, and I would always have to walk by Follies. And I almost leveled Bernadette Peters to the ground, And then I realized about 3 minutes after that I knocked into her. After I almost broke our first lady of the stage. I realized she had her hair like in a scarf, you know, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And she was like, oh, it's fine. Like, well, and didn't really say anything. And she walked off, and I was like, oh my God. I was just like, what just happened? In the span of 3 weeks, and I'd met Terrence Mann and Robert Cuccioli and Liz Larson and like all these people that I'd been working with. So I had this like whirlwind experience of that episode airing in New York, and and having people come up to me off their own volition to talk to me about it. And I was like, wow, this is, if you're doing important work, and I'm not saying that was important work, but when you get a chance to either make that important art or be a part of it, and then people come up to you and want to talk to you about it, it's really life-changing. And I wish that 20-year-old Lindsay had enough brain power to know, to like really store that away and be like, this is important, people care.
Yeah.
And you're doing a good thing that entertains people, and it makes people smile. And that I wish that I, at a younger age, accepted that more freely.
Yeah.
Because, oh my God, life would have been so much easier. So much easier.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So going back, Trillium Burbank asks, what was your reaction to finding out that you were going to be Elphaba on Broadway? So we talked about like getting the audition. What happened when they called?
The audition was this past November in 2019. And I had done an audition on a Monday and a callback on a Wednesday, and then heard nothing. And because it was my first Broadway audition, I was like, great. I felt good about that. I feel like I left a good mark, and I walked away from that being like, awesome. I'm so glad that that's what I left in that room.
Yeah.
And I had an agent audition, so I wasn't at an open call or an Actors Equity call. I had my agent got me an appointment, and I didn't hear from any. I called her after the callback and said, it went great. And she was like, great. Well, just to let you know that this is the way that these things work, is usually you'll get like a final callback maybe next month, maybe in 6 months or something like that. And they'll be like, hey, we need you in New York to audition for creatives and to do all this, that, and the other. And so I was like, great. And then on Thanksgiving weekend, I got a call that something happened to my audition tape in the room, and that I had to go in and film it again. Well, it didn't work with my schedule to get in. Like, I truly could not move my schedule around. So I was like, what about like 9:30 in the morning? Just on the off chance that they would be able to see me. And so I thought that they were calling a bunch of people back, and they hired a pianist and a reader and someone there to film, and everybody came in early to retape me. And I had no clue that was what was happening. And thinking back now, it makes me want to cry, because it's just so cool. Like, after a long time in an industry that can be really unkind, not the people, but, the experience can be really unkind. To have people go so out of their way to want to help you is really, and I had no clue. I was just like, oh man, 9:30 is really early to sing all these songs. And I was like, and I walked out of that being like, okay, it wasn't as good as the first time, but like, it was 9:30. Yeah, great. And then, and I knew in my heart, I was like, there's no way I'm getting cast off of what I just did. But I'm very glad that I've had this experience, and can't wait to audition again. And then I got a call, didn't hear anything. And I got a call on the 2nd of January of this year. I was driving my car, and I was waiting for a call from my agent to tell me about a film that I was on hold for. I thought that I was going to book a movie, a small indie film. I thought I was going to book this thing that I was so excited about. And she was like, hang on, I'm getting on a plane. And I was like, wow, fancy. And she was like, really quick, I have to ask you, how do you feel about moving to New York to play Elphaba in Wicked on Broadway? And I was like, what?
Oh my
I truly,
God.
I didn't even cry. Like, I didn't even, until I got on the phone with my mom, I did not cry at all, because it was like our victory. It was really like mine and my mom's moment, because she's the one that drove me to all those auditions in Livermore and all those auditions in like Merced and Fresno. And, you know, like she was there at the start to now. And I said, "What did you just say to me?" And she repeated herself. And I went, "Natalie," her name's Natalie. And I said, "Natalie, are you sure? Are you sure?" And she went, "Yeah." And I was like, "Okay,
Okay.
are they sure?"
I'll take
And
it.
she goes, "Well, yeah, they're sure. The offer's in your email. Like, check your email. You have an offer." And I was like, oh my God. And I was driving to a Walgreens. So I was in a Walgreens just like pacing the aisles. I had to get some stuff for the house, and I was just like pacing the aisles on the phone with people. And my best friend is a former First National Tour Elphaba. So I called my partner, I called Steven, and then I called my mom, and then I called Emma, who's been on Broadway. She did Spring Awakening on Broadway, and she did the Next to Normal tour, and amazing actress. And she just went, "Oh, Lindsay, you're going to be on Broadway." And I was like, I know. I was like, am I? What's happening? I don't know what's happening. But that was also nice to have a best friend who's been green many times before.
Yeah.
So she knew exactly how I was feeling and exactly how overwhelming it felt, and how exciting it all was. And it's a big deal. It's a big part. And Wicked's a big show. So I was like, it doesn't happen this way normally. And I couldn't be more humbled, truly. Because I went in there like, I'm ready to be a good student. Whatever you need me to do, I will prove myself. I swear, I will prove myself. Yeah,
And
a whirlwind.
did you open in January then?
My opening night was February 25th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good. It's here. It's on the paper that I'm supposed to be reading.
Yeah.
That's fine. Wow. So, okay. So you did 3 weeks before they closed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in those 3 weeks, I mean, like, I want to go back for 1 second, because you talked about like those are the moments. Like, I think it was Oprah that said to Charlize Theron, like, if you can't remember if you can't celebrate those little victories, those little things that happen to you, like that phone call with your mother, or being on set with Leah Michelle and Chris, whatever his name was. Just those like moments are so amazing. It's so cool that you're so grounded in those moments, and that you're really so appreciative of them. That's amazing. Let me ask another question from they're going to think I just hogged you the whole time, and the kids haven't gotten
No, it's
any
fine.
this is a good question. So Lexi Cuevas lives in Modesto. She's one of our 11-year-old campers. She's so cute. And her question is, how did you find opportunities when you were living up there in Northern California?
Well, this was, you have to think about what time it was, which was the 2000s. So a lot of it was newspaper. My mom would find auditions in the art section of the newspaper. And I never thought to look in those places, because I was a young person and was only there for the comics. So my mom would find these things, or she would find them in other local newspapers, or hear about things through the grapevine. And then now we have really amazing sources like backstage.com and playbill.com. There's a lot of auditions for union, non-union. There's always I mean, social media has really changed everything in terms of auditions and finding out about camps and children's theater troupes or young people's theater troupes, young adult theater troupes, like Yes Company, or I'm thinking of we did like Turlock Youth Performing Arts and all of that. And it really was just like a come one, come all, come be a part of the show.
Yeah.
So I wish I had a better answer, other than my mom was gracious enough to spend time cultivating a dream of mine under the, like, behind the curtain. She really is, like, my mom is the wonderful Wizard of Oz. Like, and there's no smoke and mirrors. Like, she actually was the person being like, try to go to this thing, and like maybe she's like, hey, I found this, and she'd just leave it with me, and I'd look at it and be like, oh my God, I really want to play Belle. That'd be so great, you know. And she would kind of give me the idea, and because she believed in me, she knew that I was good enough to have this big dream, and or that I could train or become, you know, a better version of myself in order to, she knew every time that I would sing, she would sit outside my bathroom door while I sang in the shower, and I would come out and she'd just be sitting in the hallway like, sorry, but she just knew. She knew. And my parents aren't singers, my family aren't, not like, they play instruments and stuff, but they're not singers and musicians and stuff like that. And there was just something she knew. So if you have a Carol Pierce in your life, that's a really good start.
Well, I think one of the important things that you touched on earlier was when you said that when you went to that Beauty and the Beast audition, that you knew the songs and the scenes backwards and forwards. And I think that's something that we continue to try to teach our kids, is like, you don't want to just look for the opportunity. You want to make sure that you're prepared for the opportunity before you seek out the opportunity. That's because you didn't just happen into Belle or happen on the Glee Project or happen into Alphabet.
No.
There's a lot of preparation into that.
Yes, and there was, and that, you know, I won't lie. If any of you on here know what like imposter syndrome is, or feeling not enoughness, or lack of worthiness and all of that, of course, I went through I have run the gamut of jobs in this lifetime, and like truly up and down, and I have struggled with my sense of belonging, and I've struggled with my sense of community and my sense of self in this ever-changing industry. And truly, I think back on all the other auditions that I went on that were for smaller things, where I got that audition packet and I learned it backwards and forwards, because being prepared for an audition means that you will likely be the person that they don't have to worry about in rehearsals, which is a really big deal. So if you come in with a professional attitude and a light and ready to work and ready to be down to play, that really will translate. If that is who you are and that's what you bring to the table and that's what you're ready to bring to the table, people are like, I want to work with that work ethic, you know. And I am, anybody that's close to me knows that I'm like, once work starts, I'm like a workhorse. I don't stop, which is not the best all the time. So learn about balance. But yeah, it's being prepared. What is it? What's the saying? It's 80% prep, like 15% like personality, and like 5% luck, or something like that. There's always like some saying about it being, you know, it's like they say like abs are made in the kitchen or something, like, you know, it's like 80% diet. Well, it's like 90% preparation. You know, what are you working on your voice? Are you learning about your industry? Are you going to camp? Are you going to your dance classes? If you can't do those things, are you doing them at home?
How hungry are you for it too?
How hungry are you?
The little girl that asked the question, Lexi, we've had a cover that song contest with new songs from a musical that we wrote. Yeah. And for the last 9 weeks, this little girl, Lexi, has entered every single week. She's learned every single song. And I'm like,
fantastic.
You're 1,000% going to be in show business. Like, just so you know, even I didn't learn all 9 songs and I wrote them. Like, come on. Like, genius. Genius. This is a really fun question. We've had a lot of good questions over the weeks, but Shirley Brill asks, what song best describes your quarantine experience? That's a good one.
I feel like I'm breaking down from falsettos is a little too on the money, but there's no lyric like, you ask me, is it fun to cry over nothing? It is. I'm breaking down. That one's really good. One Day More from Les Mis is a surefire way. It's a sure hit.
1 month more, 1 day more.
1 month more. When will it end? I Know It's Today from Shrek the Musical is really funny.
Yes.
It's like,
I saw that.
All the days. the big
Yeah,
number.
Sutton
And
did
now
that on one of her posts. It was like her and her husband looking tired, and she said day
yeah.
400, and that was really cute.
Yeah, and just like
Um,
all of the weird things of like, now I'm a very gifted bowler and I'm a vandal now as well. Like
yeah.
all these things, just the things we're all becoming in quarantine. Yeah, probably that.
This question comes from our producer, Valerie Dorr, who was your stage manager in Scream at Rockwell
Oh my God.
years ago. Now, she
She's
says one of the
great.
things that she really admires about you is the dedication that you have to your roles. And during Scream, you came to rehearsal with your blocking already memorized from the YouTube videos of the year before. Is this true?
Yes, it's true.
Now, what do you do when you, like, how do you prepare
It's
for an
true.
audition? Like, I can only imagine. Do you?
The guys that wrote that show were also writers on the television show that I was on, Recovery Road. And I walked up to them, and here's the thing. I'm like a lot more chill than I'm coming off, but I went up to them and I was like, so I heard that you're doing Scream again at the Rockwell in Los Feliz. And they were like, yeah. And I was like, can I be in it? Can I audition or something? And they were like, oh, yeah, we'll talk to you about it. And I was like, oh man, they're not going to let me like be in it because I'm in the TV show and that might be like conflict of interest and yada yada. And then I got a call. They were like, hey, do you want to be in Scream? And I was like, yes. And I had seen it the year before, and my friends had played the role the year before. And there was something about that show that I just really wanted to be a part of, and I really wanted to get close to those two men. I call them my fear fathers. They're just Michael Gans and Richard Register. They're just fabulous, and they're from like old New York, and they talk like this, and it's fabulous. And I just really I was more passionate about them and getting to work with them, and I wanted to learn from them. And Michael Gans' husband is Kevin Chamberlain, so it's like, and it wasn't like I wanted to get to know I'd already met Kevin Chamberlain, but it was like I wanted to know what it was like to cultivate a life like they had.
Yeah.
And a friend group like they had, and knowledge that they had. I mean, they have knowledge of like the silver screen and of the old Rodgers and Hammerstein, and it's not Hammerstein, it's Hammerstein. And I just they say that you gravitate towards people that you want to someday have pieces of, and that you want to like grow into. And I did. I just wanted to impress them so badly that I went and Hermione Grangered myself and just like learned the whole show. I'm serious. I wasn't just off book in terms of blocking. I had the lines memorized. I was a crazy person because I wanted to do a good job, and I wanted to make sure that like they knew I took this little show seriously, and they were like, calm down.
Yeah. Well, I
They
think
were like,
it's
calm down. But they also were, they were very thankful that I cared so much, but they were also like, it's fine. Like, you're fine.
now I got to see you in 2 different productions of Spring Awakening. It
Oh,
played
yeah.
2 very different characters.
Yes.
Which was your favorite of the 2? So you played Wendla and you played
Yeah.
Eastbound.
I would say if you were to ask me which part in general I thought was better a couple years ago, I would say Venla, because there's so much happening. But as the older Lindsay that got to play Ilsa, man, that character, she's not on stage for long, and there's something beautiful about the bits and pieces of her that you do get, and she's so anonymous. Like, you don't really know everything about her, and she's not a clear painted picture, and I think that that's really human.
Yeah.
And that scene with Moritz, Spring and Summer, and Don't Do Sadness, or Blue Wind, Don't Do Sadness, is amazing. And there's something really haunting about a character being the last person to see someone alive in a show. And I don't know what that's like in real life, but it was really special. And I don't know, there's something gritty about Ilsa that I really love. But like young 20-year-old Lindsay would have been like, no, Venla. But like older Lindsay is like, no. Ilsa's creepy. I love Ilsa. she's just like an earth mother, and haunted and broken and beautiful, and yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We kept you
Oh my God.
way longer than we anticipated.
I don't care. Oh my God, I could go for a full hour.
Oh, and I can't wait until Broadway is back, and I hope that you're back. I'm flying out there to see you the second you're back on that stage.
Oh my God, I'll cry. If they let people backstage, you can come backstage.
Oh my God.
Just,
I literally,
see everyone. And...
when I read that you and Sam were in, like, I'm not kidding. Like, I literally teared up because it's such a cool story.
I know.
I mean, it's like literally a Rachel Berry story.
Yeah. I know.
Except
it's very, life imitates art. Yeah, it's weird, but yeah, and it's a beautiful cast right now. Not that there hasn't been a beautiful cast of Wicked, but it's there's something about this specific blend of people that's like, you walk into that principal hallway and into the dressing rooms of the ensemble girls and boys, and there's just like there's people that have been there forever, there's people that just got there, and it's just, they're really good. Like, real, not to be too on the nose with like a show quote, but they're just so good. And I miss them. I miss my work people, but yeah, they're good people.
We're looking forward to seeing what's next. And thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really
Thank you for all the questions, everybody. It was so nice to get to talk to you. It's so good to see you again. I don't want you to say bye.
I can't wait. I know. I can't wait until we're back up and running at camp and we can get you to come out with us.
A camp memory actually that came up today. I was explaining to Steven who you guys were, and I was like, there's actually a really funny video on YouTube of me singing Gimme Gimme at this camp.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, at Casadero, at that camp that was like so far off the beaten path that we all thought we were going to die once we got there.
Yes, my mom and I were like, oh, we're going to fall off the mountain. Like, oh my God.
We're not there anymore, by the way. We're just like right off the beach in Santa Cruz.
Beautiful. Yes, beautiful. But I was like, there's this video, and it's now been put into, you know, those compilations of like little like sections of like, Courtney, Take Your Break from Legally Blonde, and they do like the mashups. Well, there's Fly, Dove, Sing, Sparrow, Give Me Fat Boy's Famous Arrow. Well, there's that huge, like, there's a huge compilation, and if anybody's interested in a good laugh, I literally go, and it's in the video, I go, Fly, Dove, Sing, Sparrow. I have to cough. Stop the song completely and then just jump right back into it. And I'm singing to like a track on my iPod. And I was like, and the whole audience, I mean, every child, every person that worked there was like, oh my God. But I was like, I had to cough. I wouldn't have been able to sing the rest of the song. And Steven was like, oh, that's, yeah, got it.
Oh my God. I'm going to go research
that. Yeah, and that's
right
my memory of that.
I remember that day as if it was yesterday, but it was almost a decade ago. It's kind of crazy.
Was it really? Oh my God.
It was,
wasn't it?
It's crazy.
That's crazy. That it doesn't feel like it was, but it sure was.
No, I credit Robert Ulrich and Alex Newman and just the whole team of Glee. They really helped camp so much when Darren was the first teacher to come and you came right after Darren.
Oh my God, Darren. I know.
It just kept coming and we were like the Glee camp, but it was really great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Stay safe. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
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 Oh my God.